Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Hyten, Executive Director of the North Shore Business Improvement Association. Thanks for joining us for today's Power Hour Business Development Seminar. President Bryce Herman's on the call. Bryce, you traditionally start this off with a quick howdy ho. So what have you got to say for us today?
Well, I just, again, a huge thanks to everybody that's on the line. The energy and work that's been put in by yourself and Patty on this to make Power Hour a reality. Great resource. I think this will last for a long time. And I want to thank Blair, a fellow Rotarian, for joining us this morning and sharing his wisdom. And with that, that's all I have to say. So over to you and Blair. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So just to set some context, today's business climate is unlike any that's come before. And I believe that capitalization of businesses will emerge as a critical benchmark when evaluating companies in the coming years. With that in mind, getting back to business, getting things up and running is a matter of navigating loans, incentives, deferrals, and credits. And for many small business owners, loans and how to utilize them is a key factor. To talk more about the business of business, we're joined by two of our community's financial leaders. First is Blair Gray, the General Manager of Community Futures Thompson Country. In his role, he's responsible for day-to-day operations of the organization, oversight of staff, financial planning, long-term sustainability, and he brings 6 years plus experience managing nonprofit environments, procuring and overseeing government-funded contracts. His areas of expertise include employment services, commercial lending, community economic and partnership development, strategic planning, public communication, and workplace diversity and inclusion. Joining Blair is Shelagh Pemberton. She started her employment with CFTC in May of 2004 as a loans administrator. She has 20 plus years of experience in finance with a comprehensive background in banking, lending, and analyzing financial statements through a strong accounting lens. Over her time with the CFTC as the primary contact for loan processing, she's been responsible for the management and administration of a loans portfolio in the millions of dollars, all utilized in order to enhance Community Futures Thompson Country's regional businesses' ability to start, grow, expand, and most importantly, succeed. Please take it away.
Great. Well, wow. Thank you for that rousing introduction. I didn't realize we did all of that, but maybe we do find time to do all those things. So thanks so much for having us, Jeremy and Bryce. We're very happy to be here and talk a little bit about our loan process, commercial lending in general, as well as some of the federal subsidized loan programs that are out there right now too, because I think those are very topical and very important to have a good understanding as to how those work. It's programs that we're probably not going to see for decades again. So, you know, if businesses are in a position and they think they're going to be in business past 2022, they're probably something that they want to take a look at. So we'll get in and talk about those as well as just general loan applications. Before we get started, I just want to make sure we are having some technical issues on Shelagh's end. Shelagh, can you say something so we know that you're on? I think Shelagh's still muted. So why don't I get started and Jeremy and Shelagh can maybe sort through that as we go, if that works. So I'll share my screen. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, can everyone see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Commercial financing in the wake of COVID-19. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, just to kind of give you some background on Community Futures and the lending that we do, we are a nonprofit and we're funded through, our lending is funded through the federal government, and it's basically to help entrepreneurs secure and fund their startups and grow their business. For us, our goal is to help businesses and entrepreneurs succeed. We do that through partnerships with other lenders, as well as community partners like the business improvement associations. One thing that I'll say too, with our lending, we make sure that businesses check with their commercial banks, as well as the Business Development Bank of Canada, to see if they're able to get funded through those banks prior to working with us. Because we take on generally more risk than those banks, our interest rates are higher. So we always make sure that they get the best rate possible. If we have a client that's able to pay off our loan early and be bankable with the banks, that's always something that we're looking to support and help out with. So it's really not about making money on our loans. We do, and the money that we make on our loans goes back into our loan program, and we're able to fund more businesses. So it's really not about the bottom line for us. It's about seeing businesses succeed. So some of the things we're going to talk about today, and this will mostly be Shelagh, but I'll just get into a little bit of a overview right now. So we're going to talk about the characteristics of commercial term loans. They're a type of short-term financing that allows business to purchase inventory, equipment, machinery, other fixed income producing assets, as well as obviously working capital. A lot of what we do is working capital loans. Some of the other things we'll talk about are interest rates and credit worthiness, how those interest rates are determined, what is credit worthiness, what determines your credit score, and how that might impact your ability to be financed either through a bank or through community futures. And we're going to talk about secured financing and types of collateral. There's some banks are able to only secure commercial assets, equipment, buildings, things like that. We're a little bit more flexible, and some other lenders are more flexible where we can also secure personal assets, including personal residences. So we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like, when we might secure someone's residence and when we wouldn't do that. But before we get into agreement basics and evaluating loan proposals, I did want to touch on federal programs that are rolled out now, as well as the Community Futures Emergency Fund that's going to be rolled out imminently as well. So one of the main programs is the Business Credit Availability Program, BCAP for short. There's a lot of acronyms out there. I've tried not to memorize all of them because they seem to be adding them daily. So that one is BCAP, Business Credit Availability Program. So this is a combination between BDC and what would be your financial institution who you bank with. This is more of a regular loan. There's still a lot of due diligence done with this loan, but they've ensured that there are funds available if you are wanting to go down this path. If you're interested in looking at that, it would be, the best bet would be to contact BDC and inquire as to what a loan would look like with them. The main program, and the one that's being accessed by the most businesses through this, and I have just some statistics at the end of this that I'll talk about, and shown how many businesses are actually applying to the Canada Emergency Business Account, or CEBA for short. It's pretty incredible, actually, the uptake on this so far, and it's just been expanded as well. So this is a $40,000 loan that is provided through your financial institution. With this loan, if you are able to repay back 75% of it prior to 2022, December 1st or December 31st, 2022, you would be able to keep 25% of that loan, as in $10,000, which is pretty incredible. It's something that we really have never seen before, a loan fund like that. And as I kind of said off the top, if you are looking at being in business past 2022, this is something that you should probably be investigating. The interest rates are going to be very low even when this does roll into a term loan, if you aren't able to pay it back prior to the end of 2022. So definitely something that everyone should be checking out. Now, of course, not everyone has been available for this loan. They have opened it up recently. Prior to this, you needed to have payroll of $20,000 or more, up to $1.5 million. They've now opened it up past that to allow personal businesses to be eligible, but you still need a CRA business number and have to have filed your 2018 or 2019 tax returns. And the other main one, and this is still going to exclude a lot of single operators and contractors, is having a business operating account. So you still need to have that business operating account to apply for the CEBA loan. Just moving on now, and it's just been announced, and we as a community futures network across Canada have been provided extra funds on top of our normal loan funds for an emergency loan fund, and it basically mirrors the CEBA loan fund. So again, this time it's not an automatic $40,000, it's up to $40,000. So that's actually something that's different from the CEBA loan fund. So we can work with you on that as to what the amount of money is right for your business to be borrowing. Again, it's zero interest up until December 31st, 2022. If you are able to repay that prior to 2022, then you do get to keep 25% of what you've borrowed. So very similar in that respect. Principal repayments can be voluntarily made at any time without penalty. There's no principal payments until December 31st, 2022 if you need to go that route. So then at that point in time, it'll be rolled into a term loan, and that will start January 1st, 2023. And we'll work with you. Interest rates are actually going to vary on this, but they won't be anything higher, I don't believe, other than, I think it's up to prime +2 on these loans, but not all final details have been made on that. But again, it'll be a very realistic interest rate that should be repayable if your business has made it through COVID-19 and you're back to what the new normal is, and now operations are kind of full at that point. But with all of these loans, the full balance will have to be repaid no later than December 31st, 2025. And if you're interested in this program, it's going to be an online application process. They're just getting the portal up this week. We hope that it's going to be available this week. If not, we'll be sending out that link to everyone in our stakeholder list, and hopefully sending it out from there. But I have to say, just hold on, it'll be available very shortly, but we can start talking and taking inquiries. And if you're interested, give us a call now. And with that, I'm going to hand it over, hopefully, to Shelagh to start talking about agreement basics and what we'd look for in a loan application.
Yes, hi there.
Great.
We've got me unmuted. It's important when you're looking for funding that you drill down into your agreement, just see exactly what you're paying. Interest rates and APR are two slightly different concepts. APR can be just slightly higher. So if you have a loan or a mortgage at 3.52%, the APR could be just slightly higher at 8.5 or 7%. And what the APR includes is other fees that the lender has incurred over the year. So that slight 0.2% raise will encompass all of those charges. So we look for personal guarantees. You say people think that a corporation kind of shelters you from being on the line for the loan, but a lot of financial institutions will want to not only, lodge a loan against your business, but they will also want individual guarantees. So that provides a little bit more security for the lender, that if your business can't make the loan, you've guaranteed that personally you will be able to pay the loan. Lots of people don't like to do that, but a lot of us financial people do ask for that. Repayment flexibility on a loan is important. So when you're planning to take the loan out, are you going to keep it for the 5 years and just continually pay your payment? Don't worry that, the interest by the end of the loan, you're in it for the long term. Or do you want a loan that is more flexible? So you're thinking, maybe 2 years from now, our business is going to be so good, we don't want this loan on our books. We want it paid off so that we can then just use our money to grow. So flexible loans provide that. Community Futures offers flexible loans. You can lump sum our loan, you can prepay it at any time without a penalty. A lot of other loans, you will get a penalty. So some term loans, if you want to pay it prior to the term of the loan, be it 3 or 5 years, there's a penalty to pay that off. But kind of similar to a mortgage penalty, that if you are in a locked-in mortgage, you will have to pay a penalty to get out of it. So you need to look at your business and see what's going to fit in there. Do you want this from the long term? Have you got a much lower interest rate on a long-term one, and that's what you want to do? Or getting a flexible loan at a bit higher rate, being able to pay it out sooner may be better for your business. So that's, we can go to the next slide, Blair.
Okay.
When I get a loan proposal or a business plan and they're looking for money, there's a number of things that I start looking at to begin with. Right out of the gate, I start looking at the owners or the principals of the company. Are they, do they have the expertise to run this company? Do they have certificates? Do they have any kind of education behind them that allows them to operate the business that they're going to go into? I also look at the team that the person is gathering around them. So whether the team is for consulting, so you may have somebody that's already been in business that is going to be a mentor for you. You may have, you know, a financial person in the family. You may have a friend who is a lawyer. All those kind of things form the team to make your business, to help your business become successful. Also look at the staffing team. Who are you bringing to the table? What are they bringing to the table to, again, help the business be successful? Looking at you personally, we do pull a credit bureau. There's things on your credit bureau that can be explained if you have some black marks on your credit bureau. Community Futures is pretty open and flexible to looking at bureaus that might not be as shiny and clean as, say, what the bank is looking at. So if there's reasons for some hiccups on your credit bureau, so for example, things like a marriage split up can be a big hiccup on a credit bureau. But it is explainable, and if you've looked after the credit, you know, paid it off, or made some sort of an effort to clean up your credit, and you've now moved on to having good credit, Community Futures will look at that. Banks aren't quite as flexible. You know, they have a tipping point of a beacon score of about 650 is as low as they will go. And of course, the stronger your score, the better. But, you know, we do look at, there is instances in life that may mark your credit bureau, but that doesn't mean that you're a bad risk. So we look at all of those things. I then look at, after looking at your team and you, and if you fit into, you know, you weren't a brain surgeon and, you know, now you're going to go be an auto mechanic or something like that, that you have the expertise to run this business. We then start to look at your market and your connections to your market. So, and they're very important. They give you a leg up. So if you've worked in an industry that is, you know, overloaded with work, and you can see that there's an opportunity for you to start a business, and you're bringing that expertise to the table, that all bodes well for your business. You may also have some clients or some contacts for getting contracts because of your experience in the industry. We look to see if you have some existing contracts in the hopper, you know, people waiting for when you do get started, that will start generating some revenue for your company. Your reputation. So if when you do your proposal, a lot of times people will be, you know, that they're very connected in the construction industry, and they have connections to these contractors, and you know, these people have said that they would give you contracts and supply work for you, that kind of thing. So the connection to your market is really one of the most important things. It's not a if I build it they will come kind of a scenario. affect how you grow. If you have a long way to go to get connected in the industry, it's going to take you much longer to get your business up and running and generating some capital. We also look and see if there's room in the market for your business. So, you know, for example, things like gyms in Kamloops. We've got a lot of big size gyms, workout places, all of that kind of stuff. So we kind of look at, you know, is there room for another one? Is there a reason that there's room for another one? Do you have something that differentiates you from any other business that's already open in town or in the area? So we look at those sort of things too, just to make sure that you're able to break into the market and get your piece of the pie and attain your projections that you've projected for your business. A big one, I think, is how you will be different. We're kind of flooded with a lot of different businesses and social media and online businesses. And so how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be a little bit different from Joe Smith's business that will also give you a leg up to breaking into the market and attracting people because of what you might provide? A marketing plan is really important. That's sort of your roadway. How are you going to break into the market? How much money are you going to be spending on your marketing, and what would the results be? So, you know, it's good to revisit all of these plans, because if you're doing one thing and you're not getting the results from it, then you might want to change course and do some other sort of marketing. But all those things need to be thought about, and we really look at how you're going to break into the market on there. Financial statements are, you know, an existing business, it's quite easy. We can look at their income statement, see what their cash flow is, see if the business can handle new debt. If they need new debt to grow, how long is it going to take before the business can be stable again and be able to make all of their payments? On a new business, we look at the financial projections and just try and see if you've missed anything. If they're over exuberant, like you need to be reasonable and attainable projections. I know everybody, historically, people think their business is going to come out of the gate and just, you know, be doing a lot of stuff, but it's really important to have those projections very attainable and really look at the slimmest kind of a month that you could have. Because on your slimmest month, for revenue, if you can make all of your payments and all of your expenses, and then you know that if anything else is gravy over top of that. Also, we look at the projections as it depends whether you've decided that you've got a marketing plan of, you know, 3, 6, 9 months out, or things that you might be adding to the business, just how you're going to make that come to fruition, how you're going to make it grow on your business. We also look at your investment into the business. So it's very important that you come to the table with, it can be cash, it can be equipment, it can be inventory. Those are all your contributions to the business. We don't want the business, and I don't think anybody would lend to you, if you're going to be 100% financed by Royal Bank, Community Futures, BDC, credit cards, or whatever it is. That's not a good way to start the business. You need to have some of your own equity in the business. That's about the cash flow. Cash flow is big. When your cash flow is going to start, what your risk assessment is, all of that kind of thing. We look into the financial statements on staff. If you're going to be paying staff, when do you add staff? Can you afford to add staff? And that kind of thing as you grow. So the COVID, when you're looking at a COVID loan right now, and there's lots of opportunities out there that are great for business, I would suggest you need to look back onto your financials, and because at the end of the 2-year window that they're giving you to recover from COVID, this loan is still a loan on your books. You still have to make the payments. So if prior to COVID, you really didn't have any room to make the payments, then what's going to happen after COVID? Because you still got to pay this loan back. That doesn't mean that you don't want to apply for the loan so you can survive, but you still have to think about other things that you can do to pivot your business into maybe a different stream to be able to come out of the COVID crisis in our new norm and still have the revenues you need to then again pay off this new debt that you've taken on. That's about it. The COVID loans are great because you have a 25% that is forgiven. But again, at the end of the day, you still have a loan. So you really need to look at prior years and figure out whether this is something that you'll be able to handle. I think that's about it, Blair.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Sheila. And I just wanted to add on kind of the final piece with the COVID loans. With your business plan, you're going to want, and it's going to be asked for, that you have a comprehensive COVID plan in place, or you probably won't be lent to at this point. So just kind of some of the things that we would be looking for is that your workplace is organized and arranged to the new health and safety rules. You have people 6 feet apart at all times within your organization. There's some specific activities that are carried out, cleaning and sanitizing details. You're letting the public know what those cleaning and sanitizing details are and probably have them posted in your place of business. And just that you are communicating to everyone that would be coming into your business what the changes are in your establishment and what you are requiring the public to do if it is different when they come into your business. So those are some of the things that are going to be requested if you are going to be applying for a loan right now. There's a lot more information that can be found at that, especially with WorkSafe BC. So they've got some posters that you can print off that basically detail, like how you want people to be moving in your center, what's now kind of off limits that maybe wasn't before, all those kinds of things. So definitely something to keep in mind. And I had said that, yeah, sorry, Sheila, go ahead.
To add to that, and I would say that you need to have a document that is your COVID plan that you can hand to your staff. They can read it, kind of like the bullying plan that we have from WorkSafe BC, just so that if there's any, who knows, maybe someone gets COVID at work and they're going to sue you, or because nothing was in place or they weren't privy of it. So I think it's always good to have a human resource document. You've got the bullying, you've got alcohol and cannabis use in the workplace. I think now COVID has got to be incorporated in as well as a written document.
Yeah, and I think that's actually mandatory now. If you're going to be open back up to the public, you could have WorkSafe BC dropping in on you and ensuring that you have that written plan in place and that it's been distributed to your staff. So I will unshare my screen, and if there are questions, we are happy to take them. We probably wouldn't take any specific questions to your business on this call. This is kind of a general information call, and then if you do want to follow up with Sheila and myself, then we are very happy to do that one-on-one.
Okay, Blair, so I'm going to ask the first question here. So understanding that there is a COVID loan available, right? That could be very enticing to some businesses, but other businesses may already have some loans in place and are trying to figure out, is it a blending process? So what are some key considerations when looking, whether it's financing, refinancing, temporary loans? What are some key things that a business owner should look at and consider?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at that, and then maybe Sheila can follow up as well. There are some eligibility rules around the COVID loans, whether it's the CEBA loan or the upcoming Community Futures loan. Um, they are not supposed to be used to be repaying debt. So if we have a client that has a Community Futures loan, they're not able to apply for our emergency loan to pay down their existing debt. So there is going to be, I believe, some level of CRA audit related to these loans and how they were used. They're going to want to see that you are using these loans for day-to-day activities, that's paying, staff, rent, those kinds of things. You're not paying things like dividends or or paying down debt that you already had. I don't know, Sheila, if you wanted to add to that at all.
Not really. It's a moving forward loan, really. It's to get you from being closed down from COVID to start up, whether that's, getting new inventory, getting all your signage, all your staff back to work. So that it's a moving forward. It's not a cleanup loan.
So we had Mario Perotti from BDO on about a week ago, I guess, talking about general financial management. When you're looking at your business, some businesses sort of, for lack of better terminology, limp along over time, right? Just barely getting their head above water. What are some things that an entrepreneur can look at to say, is it worth really continuing? Is it worth looking at a loan? So what are some key things that we can assess as an entrepreneur?
I can start with that if you'd like, Blair. I think key things that owners need to look at for their businesses is again, like the shape they were in before they closed. So if it's kind of month to month and, you're not really getting ahead of the game, you're going to need to take on debt to be able to stay in the market. Is that something prudently that you want to do? Or you've been limping along, times have changed. Do you need to pivot your business? Do you need to have sort of a roundtable chat on what differently you can do now to bring your business to a different level? I think those are two key things that you need to look at. And we also need to consider, the word is that with this pandemic, we may have another strike of pandemic come the fall. So as you're moving forward, how make a plan how you are going to work through that if it comes.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I was going to mention that it seems like we're kind of maybe heading into the eye of the storm right now, where there's a little bit of a calm period, but as Sheila says, they're prognosticating that there's going to be probably a second round. We don't know how severe that will be, but businesses will have to be ready. And I don't think there's going to be another round of $40,000 loans. And, there still might be some programs available, but you won't be able to double dip. So if we're having to close down again, you're going to need to be able to handle that scenario.
Yeah, and I think, moving forward, do we keep the curbside pickup? That seems to work for a lot of people. You don't want people not coming in your store and doing some buying and some instant buying that they weren't going to buy at the time. So you don't want to stop that, but is there a nice medium where you can continue with some services that some busy people will still like once COVID is over, and still will provide you with the income that if you can only have 50% of the people in the store, you've still got 50% of the people shopping online. I think those are going to be big considerations moving forward into our new world, and until we get a vaccine, which could be 18 months from now.